The real justice came next. But before I tell you how it unfolded, let me take you back to the very moment I realized sometimes betrayal doesn't just break you, it sets you free. Pause. You see, the wedding fund wasn't just cash in an envelope. No, it was something far more carefully planned. A joint account created in my name long before Daniel ever entered the picture. Every paycheck, every bonus, every late night overtime hour I worked had slowly built that fund. And out of kindness only, out of kindness, I had added Daniel's name when the wedding planning began. But here's the thing about kindness. It can be revoked. The very next morning, I woke with a clarity I hadn't felt in weeks. My chest still carried the dull ache of betrayal, but beneath it was something stronger resolve. I dressed simply, no makeup, hair pulled back as if shedding. Every layer of the woman Daniel thought he knew. I walked into the bank with my phone in hand, the hidden camera recordings cued and ready. My fingers trembled slightly, but not from fear. This was adrenaline, the kind you feel when justice is within reach. Sitting across from the manager, I explained everything, calmly, slowly, each word measured. The infidelity, the attempted fraud, the betrayal of trust that had rotted my relationship from the inside out. The manager listened without interrupting. I watched his face harden, his eyes narrowing just slightly as he processed the situation. When I finished, he gave one slow nod, no judgment, no pity, just decisive action. Within the hour, Daniel's name was erased from the account, his access revoked, and the entire fund, every cent secured under my name alone. Pause, shift in tone, a little colder. It was almost poetic. The very money he thought he could steal was now forever out of his reach. That evening, my phone lit up like a fire alarm. Dozens of missed calls, texts flooding in one after another. We can work this out. It was a mistake. Don't do anything rash. And then the final message, at least leave me my share of the money. Pause then, with a bitter laugh in the voice, his share? The audacity almost impressed me. Almost. Instead of replying, I snapped a photo of my account balance. One clean screenshot. And underneath, I typed 7 simple words. This was never yours to take. For the first time, silence. He had nothing left to say. The fallout came faster than I expected. Samantha, suddenly cut off from the man she had gambled everything on, started reaching out through mutual friends, begging, pleading, claiming she had made a terrible mistake, but she underestimated me. What she never understood was how final my silence could be. And Daniel? He had no choice but to crawl back to his parents. Parents who refused to support him after his public humiliation. Word spread like wildfire. No one wanted to be associated with the man who had cheated, lied, and schemed to steal from his own fiancé. The shame stuck to him like a scarlet letter, stitched into every room he walked into. Weeks later, I found myself walking past the wedding venue, the very one we had almost booked. A young couple was there, touring the space, laughing together, hopeful, planning a future. For a moment, I thought it might sting. But instead, a wave of relief washed over me. That dream wasn't stolen, it was spared. Because now I knew I had almost tied my life to a man unworthy of me, and fate, disguised as betrayal, had pulled me away before it was too late. In the days that followed, the dust began to settle. At first, I believed the sting of betrayal would never leave me, but I'd wake each morning with the same heavy knot in my stomach. But slowly, something unexpected happened. Each day, that knot loosened, until one day it was gone. What replaced it was clarity. Daniel and Samantha had taken so much emotionally, but they hadn't destroyed me. If anything, their betrayal had stripped away the illusions I had been clinging to, was no longer engaged to a man who secretly plotted against me. I was no longer tied to a friend who smiled at me while waiting. To stab me in the heart, I was free. The money remained where it belonged with me. For months, I didn't touch it, it just sat there. A quiet reminder, proof that no matter how they schemed, they couldn't take what wasn't theirs. Eventually, I decided to use part of it for something meaningful: travel. I booked a solo trip to a city I had always dreamed of visiting. Walking through foreign streets, tasting new foods, meeting strangers who knew nothing of my story, I felt alive again. Every step reminded me the world was still wide and full of possibilities. Meanwhile, Daniel's reputation rotted. People whispered about the finance who had been caught red-handed, plotting to steal his bride-to-be's savings, and Samantha, her name was always tied to his. Together, they became a cautionary tale of greed and betrayal. They didn't last. Without the thrill of secrecy, their bond crumbled under guilt and resentment. From what I heard, they ended badly, each blaming the other for everything. And honestly, I didn't care. Their downfall wasn't my burden to carry. Sometimes people asked if I regretted making the betrayal so public. My answer was always the same. No. They had chosen deceit. They had played games with my life, my heart, and my future. The least I could do was hold up a mirror and let them see the truth. And here's what I realized. Betrayal doesn't define you. It defines them. Daniel and Samantha revealed exactly who they were. And in doing so, they freed me before I tied myself to either of them forever. So my new normal wasn't bitter. I was peaceful. I surrounded myself with people who valued loyalty, who honored honesty, who showed up in ways Daniel and Samantha never could. I poured my energy into my career, my passions, my own growth. Little by little, I built a life that was mine alone. Stronger, wiser, untouchable. Pause, soft smile. And voice, the moral of my story: trust your instincts. Protect your worth, and never forget those who plot against you often carry the seeds of their own destruction. All you have to do is step back, let the truth shine, and watch karma do the rest.